Welcome back to the Let's Talk Social Innovation podcast, everybody. I hope you've had an amazing start to your week, but if not, we can kickstart it right here. I'm your host, Ian Kahinde, and with me, I have TikTok famous entrepreneur, Sisan Tuedor. Tell him what's up, bro.
How you guys doing? What's up?
So, for anybody new here, in this episode, we're going to be going through his backstory, what it was like being raised in 3 different countries, his entrepreneurial ties, what he's doing for the community with his BSU at Point Park University. We'll hit our artist intermission. And then in the second half, we're going to be talking about the topic of self-awareness and when is really a good time to stop. So without further ado, let's get introductions out of the way. Tell me about your upbringing.
So I was born in Nigeria, and I lived there for till I was 3, and then I moved to Canada with my mom and my sister, and then I stayed there for about from the ages of 3 to 11.
Mm.
So while I was in Canada, I stayed in 3 different cities. I stayed in Rexdale, Brampton, and Mississauga. All 3 cities were nice. I liked all 3 of them. I'll say Brampton was probably my favorite though.
Mm.
But just because there was more people like me, the school, everyone there was African Canadian, or just Canadian, black, they were like me.
Mm.
Then when I moved to Mississauga, I was the only black person in my class for a year. And then the next year, we got this light skinned dude. Then it's just me and him. But it was pretty much just me and him. But the racism there was pretty crazy.
Mm.
And I really didn't even know it was racism until now. Looking back on it, there were so many microaggressions and little things that were said that at the time I was just oh, it's whatever.
Mm.
But looking back on it, it was pretty crazy. And then at the age of 11, my parents just randomly told me oh, we're moving back to Nigeria. I was
And you
what?
thought you was about to get your head shaved.
I did. I actually did. I had to get my hair cut because when I went back the school, we weren't allowed to have high hair.
Mm.
I didn't even realize that until we got there. But they just randomly told me, "Oh, we're going back to Nigeria." And I was like, "What?"
Hair culture in Africa be crazy.
It's just the school. I don't even know. It is crazy. It's probably less. Hopefully it's changed now, but honestly, I couldn't tell you. When I was in school there for 5 years, there's so many times I get a fade, or if my hair is getting too high, in the morning, I'd have to pat it down just so just so they wouldn't I wouldn't get in trouble. One time, my senior year in Nigeria, I went bald, and that was the most depressing phase of my life. I was ugly. I was so murked.
Bro, I feel you on that. Hair is important.
No, it is. In terms of confidence and everything, it's extremely important. But yeah, so I moved. My mom told me, "Oh, we're moving back to Nigeria," when I was 11, and I didn't even know what to expect because I didn't know because the only time I've been to Nigeria before that was 2010 for a wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was 0 to 3, I was too young to even know. I didn't remember anything, so that was pretty much my first time back there. But when I went back to the school I went to was a British international school. So it was a really good school. I met the best people ever. They're still my friends now. They're my closest people. And the amount of people I met outside the school as well, from different schools in Nigeria, I always love going back during Christmas or summer. But it's hard going back every time because of school and the ticket prices and stuff. But anytime I can go back, I will. But yeah, definitely those are the most enjoyable 5 years in terms of school I've probably ever been a part of.
What made it so great?
It was just the people. Every day I'll just laugh. It's just something it was just everyone there was just I just really clicked with everyone there. It was such a good community and environment. Everyone there was just so chill and just cool. It was literally the best 5 years. I talk about it whenever I meet someone new, and I'm telling them about myself, one of the first things I always say is how Nigeria was the best place in terms of those 5 years. And just to even the friends that I have now, I still have from that time. I just when I talk to them, it still feels um it just feels really great. I don't know, it just feels authentic. Maybe just because I grew up with them. So
you got the rapport, you got the camaraderie.
Yeah, but definitely those are the legit 5 years. Then after that, because the school ended from year 7 to year 11, which is equivalent to grade 6 to 10.
Mhm.
So I came back to Canada. I went to like Ridley College to do 2 years of like high school there, and then I came to the U.S. For college like after.
What brought you to Point Park?
I transferred here last year because I used to play basketball. So my first school in the U.S. was a D3 in upstate New York. But like it was that place was like it was just too isolated for me. Like it was in the middle of nowhere, so like I could not stay there for another year. But the people there were good too. Like it was definitely a rough year in
Mhm.
terms of basketball and like everything that happened. But like the people there, like I wouldn't trade for the world. Like they're cool people. I just had to get out of there. So
Mhm.
then I came to Point Park to play basketball because the head coach recruited me there. But then the whole messed up thing happened with that, so I don't play basketball anymore. But
Mhm.
that's why I'm there right now.
Word. So comparing and contrasting Nigeria, the three places you lived in Canada, and where you are now, like give me like the pros and cons of each for real.
Uh, I'll say the pros of Nigeria was definitely like there's more like sense of like community and like friendship. So like you never really feel alone, or like that was my experience there. Like I never really felt like alone. Like I
Mm.
was always like there's always something going on. Like I was always like with someone or like a group of people or like there was always like just always something happening. Like
There's
it's
a bigger
just
sense of community.
yeah, 100%. And then what's it called? Mississauga coming back. And because my school in Canada, like when I came back from Nigeria, was in St. Catharines in Niagara. So when I went there for 2 years, it was like the complete opposite. Like I went from like having this big sense of community in Nigeria to like just like isolation.
Isolation.
Like it
Yeah.
was so like those 2 years were like kind of just rough. And I feel like also that was the first year that like I was like a teenager, like experiencing like seasonal like depression and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
wouldn't say I was depressed, but just like that seasonal change, like when it gets dark around 5 and everything just seems moody, like because
Mhm.
that didn't happen in Nigeria because it's
Yeah.
like sunny all year.
Always hot.
Yeah, so it's just like I didn't. You always see the sun, but like from and that really like I didn't even know how much of an impact like seeing the sun like the whole day makes on like your mood, but until I came back to Canada like after my 5 years in Nigeria, because like when it got dark by like 4 or 5, and like it was just like this is like depressing, like everything just looks so like gloomy.
Mm.
But yeah, so I'll definitely say the sense of community there compared to when I came back is definitely like a pro, and then a con for like Canada and the Western world. Um, let's see, Nigeria. It's just like something about it that was like obviously looking back at it now, like you're only gonna remember like the positive experiences, but like there are definitely some things there that was like not good, like in terms of like some of the things that were normalized there in terms of like culture,
Mm.
like the constant like judgment and like even though people judge here too all the time, but I feel like it's more like judging and things like that are more ingrained in like the culture there.
I feel like competition is like core to the culture of Nigeria, where
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you got to like be the best, or else you're like a disappointment.
Yeah, 100%. I would say that's definitely up there. Cuz when I was in BIS, like I always say that like my academic performance like then compared to now, like that will always be like the most I would ever care about school. Not that I don't care about it now, but like then I would stay up the whole night and like not sleep just to pass a test because like they made it seem like if I failed, like my life would be over.
Mhm.
And looking back on it, like that was really never the case. Like there's so many things I could have like enjoyed more that I didn't because like I would just be up to like from like the whole night drinking like anything with caffeine in it just to stay up and study because and just try and be like this like perfect like image of a student
Mhm.
because I wanted to be like the head boy like prefect of the school, and I ended up becoming the deputy head boy, which
Mhm.
is like still pretty like cool, but it's just like I was just so focused on like those things that I didn't really like enjoy like as much as I could have, and I didn't realize that until I came like out of it. I was like, oh, like it really didn't, like it really wasn't that deep. Like I
Mm.
could have definitely enjoyed it more, but it's a past, so it doesn't really matter anymore. But it's just like looking back on it, that's always what I tell myself. Um, yeah, and as we spoke about earlier, like the hair thing, like
Yeah.
it was definitely always a problem. Like I remember like my last year, I had to cut all my hair off, and like it was like I look so ugly. Like I
Mm.
can never do that again.
I'm never doing that again
I
either.
can't. But yeah. But I mean, besides that, just all the fact that like my whole family's down there, like my uncles, aunties, like my parents, like so it's just it just felt like I was supposed to be there,
Hmm.
you know. Yeah.
So that's the past, but what's going on in the present with you right now?
Right now, I'm currently studying computer science and data analytics at Point Park University. I'm graduating by God's grace in 2025. So like honestly, right now I'm just trying to like better myself as a person in like all aspects. So like grow like in my faith, like as a Christian. Just try and be like a better person, like for me. So like when I, you know, like when I need, I feel like I'm trying to like really work on myself now, like as a 21-year-old. So like when I'm like older, like I could kind of like reap the benefits of like these things I'm doing now.
You're planting the seeds.
Yeah, because I feel like that's really important, especially as like a man and like as a man like in this like generation, just like a man period. Like my dad always told me that like not that I'm gonna like see myself as like the leader of the family. Like I feel like me and my wife, the future, like is gonna be like like we're both gonna have important roles. But I just feel like if you're not like someone, if you're not like planting the right seeds now, like as a person, period, like you're not gonna be like I just want to be proud of the person I want to be in the future. If that makes sense.
Mm.
So yeah, so I'm currently studying that. I started up a recent business with my boy back in high school called UpNext Agency. We're basically just trying to help high school kids find scholarships to play at the next level. Colleges like all over the country. So like we're currently like working with players from like different parts of America, like Canada. We have some clients in like Australia, China. Like we're just trying to basically help make it as easy on them as like to make it easier for them in terms of like helping them get scholarships.
Mm.
Because I know like when I was trying to get recruited, especially when I used to play basketball in Nigeria, like it was super hard because like the competition level in Nigeria compared to the US is like very like, not as good and the exposure was just not there at all.
Yeah.
So like we're just trying to do our best and especially helping like international athletes get like their film out there and get exposure. Like we've made significant progress. We started this in April 2023. We went live in April 2023, but the vision has been there for a while. So like we were working on it before we actually went live, and in just a short time that we've like gone live, like we've made like so much progress. Like we've been working with like prep schools, like top prep schools in the country. Like I've spoken to like coaches that like if I spoke to like when I was playing, I would have probably fainted. Like so like it's yeah, I'm very proud of like what we've been able to do with that. So yeah, like honestly, I don't even really know like what like the angle that for that is, but it's just like I'm just gonna keep doing it day by day and like hopefully by God's grace, like it blows up to something like huge. And with my major, I'm currently trying to get like an internship just to like help prepare me for like when I do graduate and enter like the workforce and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
In the intro, I did say that you were part of the BSU at Point Park University. Could you tell us more about what you do with that role?
Yeah, I'm currently the treasurer of the Black Student Union organization at Point Park. So basically, my role is to just handle like the financial aspects of the organization, making sure like all of our funds are in check, just making sure like our balance is always positive, and just basically handling any type of financial aspect with the group.
Mm.
I also do organize fundraisers to help like make money for the organization. So we did have one fundraiser this school semester so far. It was like a Disney themed throwback disco party thing. So
Okay.
yeah, it was pretty chill. It was pretty cool. So I'm definitely going to be looking to make more fundraisers next semester. So I'll keep you updated about that.
Word. When did TikTok come into play?
TikTok. I started TikTok actually in quarantine. So 2020. My first viral TikTok was like a Camp Rock TikTok. It was a joke. Like I didn't even think it'll go viral. I just posted it, went to sleep, And then I woke up and had like 10K likes, and I was like, oh,
Sheesh.
what? And I was just like, and then it just kept blowing up. I said, oh, that's crazy. And then I took like a 2 year break, and then
Mm,
I started like posting consistently like 2022 summer, and then like in the span of like a year, I've gained like 25,000 followers.
word.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to. It's really just like a hobby. Like I'm just trying to see how much I could do with it, and it's fun. I like making them. It makes me laugh. So
So my question is, with all these things you're doing, with your entrepreneurship, with your basketball scholarship brand, with your TikTok, with your work at the BSU, what is the intersectionality and all those things, and how do they come together to make you?
Um, well, I mean, at the moment, I don't play basketball anymore.
Mm,
So, but definitely, the lessons I've learned from playing basketball apply to like all the different aspects of stuff that I'm trying to do. So, I would just say like the intersection of each and every single one of the things you just listed is just like me just trying to be my best in like every single thing that I'm like putting my energy into. So, everything that I do, I do it because like I see like a first of all, I like doing it. I wouldn't
mm.
do something if I don't like doing it, but everything that I'm doing, like since I like doing it, like I want to make sure that like I put my best into it. So like honestly, I don't even think some of them relate. Like I can't tell you how TikTok relates to like my UpNext agency of how I'm helping kids try and get basketball scholarships, but it's just the fact that like I like making TikTok videos and then I like helping kids achieve their dreams of, playing college basketball. So it's just like I'm gonna do the best in this area. Then when I'm done that, I'm gonna do the best in this area. Then like hopefully it's all gonna like come together one way or another. But I'm just gonna be the best in every single thing that I do.
I think it's cool that people like you can have all these different hats and faces and still be like prominent in every single one, like still winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I never even really like if you were to like ask me like if I think I'm winning now, like I don't know if it's just like modesty, but like I obviously like I really haven't like I don't feel like I've really done anything yet. Like I'm still trying to like I don't like I only really pat myself on the back like when I'm like I feel like I'm really really up there. So like right now I really just feel like I'm just like at the like rookie level of everything. But
Please don't be too humble. You're here now. Like,
I mean, I guess, man, but it's just, I mean, I don't know. I never like patting myself on the back, but I do always once in a while give myself some type of grace and be like, be proud of yourself. You're doing something. Like a lot of people aren't, doing anything. Not to like put anyone down, but
mm.
that's, what I'm trying to say. But yeah, but hopefully by God's grace, one day I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, I really made it or something like that.
Where do your parents come into play with everything you're taking on?
My parents have always done a great job supporting me like in everything. Like my dad, my mom, even my older sister, like they've always been extremely supportive with what I want to do. And like I know like definitely like looking back on some things, like as I'm getting older and just like maturing, like I definitely know there are some things where like I've been extremely like I'm like if I was in their shoes, like I'll be like, this kid is like spoiled, or just like this kid is like annoying. So I'm always like, damn, like like I really do appreciate my parents for putting up with some of this stuff. Like I I've put them through, or even my sister, like she'll be trying to give me advice sometimes, and like I'll be like acting arrogant and some stuff,
Mm.
and then like I just realize like oh like she was actually just trying to help me, like why. So yeah, they're really their unconditional love for me is definitely something that like I always appreciate. My dad has always taught me the importance of like hard work and being disciplined, and it's still something that like I'm working on now. Like I would say I'm disciplined, but there's definitely areas like I can improve. But like in terms of my parents and my family, like they've always been extremely supportive and just like amazing. And like I'm very grateful for like each and every single one of them.
I'm glad to see that, man.
Yeah.
Now, my next question is, what is the biggest roadblock in terms of you getting to where you're at right now?
Uh Biggest roadblock. I mean, the way I look at it, like I would say my life has been like extremely blessed. Like I've definitely had like ups and downs like everyone else has had, but like I don't really in terms of like I don't know, like and whenever people say like what type of adversity or like what type of roadblock have you had, like I'm just like I've had things, but in the bigger picture, like I feel like God is really like blessed me to the point where like I don't really I don't really think about like I don't really feel like there's anything that's been like really stopping me from like doing anything that I want to do. Like definitely like don't get me wrong, like I've had moments in my life where like I've been like depressed or like I've been like down, but like
Everyone's been there.
yeah, so it's just like, I like God was able to get me back on my feet, so like it's fine. Like I really don't. But just to answer the question, I'll probably say like the biggest roadblock maybe like probably like honestly just like last year, like making the decision to like quit playing something that I've been doing since I was like 8 years old.
Mm.
So yeah, like that was probably the biggest and everything that came with that. I would say that's probably like the biggest roadblock that I've faced. And just like in terms of like identity crisis and like it literally just feeling like it just feels different. Like I used to like train like all the time. Like I used to
Mm.
hoop like all the time. Like I cannot tell you how like I would like work out and just like watch film like every single day. So just to go from that to just like stop, like it's definitely like I still feel weird now. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I definitely don't like I'll go to games and be like, damn.
I could
Like
be out there.
no, no, for real. But also like realizing that like there's levels to this. Like I
Mhm.
remember like literally just yesterday I went to like a game for my school. They played RMU, like it's a D1 school. And like I was just looking at them, I was like, I was low key never good enough to play at this level. I was just like,
Please, bro.
but it's just like, but even at that, like there's different levels like I could have played on. It's just like, yeah. So just doing that probably, and that like whole identity crisis thing was probably the biggest roadblock. But besides that, my life has been extremely blessed. So like I don't really focus on negative.
All right. Now, last thing I'm gonna ask you before we hit our artist spotlight. What are the 3 biggest lessons that you've learned on your journey so far?
I would probably just say, first of all, it's very important to like know. I'll say it's very important to be happy with what you're doing. Like I would say, like if you're like, there's many times like I would it's very important to be happy with what you're doing and making sure you're doing it for yourself.
Mm.
So, because there were many times like I would be doing something and like if you're not doing it for yourself and you're not happy doing it, like you're doing it to maybe like get to a spot where you could just like I don't know, like when I was like when I was like 17, like or like 16 to 18, and I moved back from Nigeria to Canada, and like I wanted to play basketball in my high school. Like I really just wanted to play just to like get some type of like I don't even know, some type of like
On your something like
adrenaline rush. Yeah,
okay,
like some
got
type
you.
of like it's just like I didn't really want to do it because I loved it or like I liked which is why I feel like I never really lasted too long playing the sport. So which is why like if you really want to do something and like be great at it, like you really have to make sure you really like what you're doing and you're doing it for yourself. So like even if like you don't, like God forbid you don't reach the highest pedestal of it, like you're still enjoying like the journey like as you're doing it, because that's how you even like get to any type of like success. Like you enjoy the journey. Like if you're just focused on like the end goal, like you're probably not gonna reach that because you're focused on the wrong things.
Mm.
But if you're focused on like each and every single day, like, oh, like how can I get better, like how could I be the best, like improve myself because I'm doing this because I like it, then you'll probably achieve greater than you would if you're just thinking about, oh, I need to get to the end and get this, if that makes sense. Second, I'll say discipline and consistency. Like definitely, like if you want to do anything in life, like you really have to be like disciplined and like consistent with what you do. Like I still struggle with some of that stuff now. Like there's some days like I would like uh I'll just use a gym for example. Like if you're going to like the gym like one day, you don't go for like 2 weeks, and you go again, like you're not going to see results.
Mhm.
Like you need to be like disciplined and consistent with like, and that applies to like every single aspect in life. Because if you're not, then you're really not going to see results. And I'm trying to really get that in my head like now while I'm 21. So like when I'm 30, I'm not looking back like, oh, I should have been more disciplined then, so I could be somewhere else now. Like
Mhm.
I'm really trying to get like that now, but it's just like it's definitely hard. Like I'm gonna be very honest, like being consistent and disciplined is not easy, because if it was easy, like everyone would do it. Yeah,
Everyone would
so
do
it's
it.
just like it's definitely hard to like tell yourself like no, like I want to be in a different place and I want to be like better, but it's definitely something that you have to do. So, and then lastly, last piece of advice, I would just say like be grateful and thankful for like each day. Like that's something that like I'm way better at now than I was before. Like there would be times where I'm always like wanting to be somewhere else that I wouldn't acknowledge or appreciate like the blessings that are like right in front of me
You
like
gotta
that day.
realize everything's relative. There are a
Yeah.
lot of people who are doing worse off than you are.
Yeah, so it's just about like being very grateful and thankful for like the things that are happening in your life right now and trying hard to like appreciate like the now because like yesterday is gone. You can't focus too much about the future. The future may not even come if we're being very honest. So
Mhm.
you just have to like, try and just appreciate what you have now. And yeah, so that's something that I'm doing a lot better at right now than I was before because before like I would be like not even negative, but I'll just be trapped in my own head, so I wouldn't really like see life for what it is. And I still have work to do, but definitely I'm proud of the progress I've made so far.
That's real.
Yeah.
This is a good time to get into this week's artist spotlight. Today we'll be playing Imposter Syndrome by Pitter Patter. I hope y'all enjoy.
What the hell am I doing up here? Something feels so wrong. I know I don't belong, but did I ever? And if I did, then would it be just out of pity? Or would you be laughing with me? All these mental gymnastics are pretty fantastic, but I just wanna feel like myself again. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Having big dreams is catching up to me. I always seem to flee from reality. I never thought my vision was so flawed. When everything's not how it's supposed to be, I tend to find hope in the fantasy, but I'm crippled by the possibility of being a fraud. Then again, I never thought that I'd get this far, writing subpar lyrics over that guitar. Everyone must have left.
Hope y'all enjoyed Imposter Syndrome by Pitter Patter. You'll be able to find their Instagram, their YouTube topic, and their Spotify linked in the description below. Now, getting into the second half of this week's pod, we're going to be talking about the topic of self-awareness and when to stop. So I leave the floor open to you.
Yeah, so basically what I wanted to talk about today was just the power of self-awareness. So basically just like in my lifetime and being like someone who's played sports and currently the business that I'm currently doing with the aspect of sports, um, and just in life in general, like I really just noticed that self-awareness is really a tool and a special like ability that not a lot of people have. And that's something that really like surprised me because I just assumed that like self-awareness was something like just everyone had. Like have you ever had a conversation with someone who like respectfully, but like they're just very like delusional about like the way something is going on and you're just like, do they actually think like that? And I'm
Yeah.
just like, so and this is not even to like insult anyone or like belittle anyone, but it's just like how having like the ability to know like how things really are can help you grow like so much more than like you being like delusional and stuck in one place and then like wondering, oh, why am I never growing from this place? Like, why am I never moving forward? So like I just really wanted to see like talk about like that and just knowing like also I wanted to speak about knowing when to like move on and do things different in your life. And basically this is just coming from the decision I made to like stop playing basketball because that's something that like I did for like a decade plus, like my whole life.
Mhm.
So basically first of all, self-awareness like in terms of life, having self-awareness is extremely important. It's something that like I've prayed, like I'm like religious, like I'm a man of God, so like it's something that, like I've prayed to God to like really bless me with like let me be like self-aware of like everything that's going on just because it also helps you like prevent yourself from looking stupid. Because
Hmm.
if you're not self-aware, like you could tend to look foolish in like many aspects of life. So especially like for me, like last year, like when I stopped playing ball, like I really just had to come to like a decision that like I'm getting older. I'm 5'9". Like I'm not making the league. I'm not making the league. Like I'm not trying to be broke or like so. I'm just like I have to like stop and do like focus more on like my major and like how I could use my major to like grow myself more in like the field that I'm currently doing.
Yeah,
And like
I definitely feel that because like as humans, we have a limited amount of energy that we can give out. So putting all that energy into something that's not really going to go anywhere when we
yeah.
could better distribute that.
Yeah, 100%. And like this is not even like me trying to diss or like hate on anyone's dreams and aspirations because like I had those same dreams and aspirations. Like I kid you not, like when I stopped playing, like I was like sad for a minute. Like I was like if it really did feel like a part of me like just left. And like I'm not like that was really just like what 5 months ago. So it's not like it's like I'm super like healed from it. Like I still miss like hoops and everything, but it's just like I just really can't afford to like do it like anymore because like like knowing where I want to be like 10 years from now, like I really just can't like invest all my time in like basketball. Like I can still play ball, like I still hoop like when
Yeah.
it's time to like for fun, but like I really can't like I can't be
The
like
daily grind.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
can't, like I have to put like the energy in different things. Like even if like this year this is my first year like joining stuff like the Student Government Association, like Black Student Union. Like I didn't do that. I didn't do none of that for like my last 2 years from like my freshman and sophomore year. Like I was really just waking up, going to school, ball, like that's it. And like it was really until my sister like called me like 2023 summer. That was last summer, right? Yeah, 2023 summer. Just started the summer and she was like, "Oh, like you know, like as I said, they're very supportive. So she didn't just tell me, oh, like stop playing basketball. She was
Hmm.
just like, oh, like I get you're playing ball, but like you also need to start, doing other things. That she was like, oh, like I need you to get like a LinkedIn and like start learning how to like connect and stuff with like employers and just like see like a different side of life that like you haven't really seen because you only really hang around like certain groups of like a one group of people. So she was basically just telling me to expand. And when she first told me that, I was like, I just thought she was hating, honestly. Like I was being very like not rude, but I was like, like whatever.
Mm.
Until like I low key realized like I was low key like she's actually like she's 4 years, 3 years older than me. So I was just like, okay, like she knows what she's talking about. And then I was
Mm.
just like, and then after like realizing, okay, she low key knows what she's talking about, I was like, I like from when I saw it from her perspective,
It's coming from a place of love.
yeah, and I really realized how like dumb my mindset was because when I was thinking about it, I was like, what exactly were my plans like before this conversation? Like I really thought like I was gonna like go like pro doing this and like that's kind of I feel like that's kind of like a like I was delusional like in that mindset. And this is not to say that people who want to go pro are delusional. Like if you have like the skill set to go pro, like definitely pursue that. But like I'm not gonna lie to myself, I just didn't. So
Mm.
like it was good for me to realize that like okay, like thank God I realized that like earlier sooner than later before like I would graduate and just be like in a terrible position. So like when all that happened, like this summer, like I was really just like thinking to myself like, oh, like how could I have been so like delusional, like I'm not seen that like I should have not quit per se like earlier, but how should I like I should have yeah,
Reprioritize
yeah, yeah.
things.
And it's just like, you know, and then when you look at it from that perspective, like that's just one viewpoint of my life, but I took that like into different like other areas of my life. Like, how could I like expand not just like here, but like in different areas? Because like I just started like thinking more and like opening up more to the idea of like, okay, maybe what I always wanted to do isn't for me. So like I have to do like something else. And it's definitely like a scary realization because like it was like this is all I've been doing for like the longest time. So to
Mhm.
just go from that to like joining clubs and like applying for internships and like doing like just doing a bunch of different things was like, oh, like this is different. But it's something that like uh I'm glad I did. It's definitely like less fun. Like I'm not gonna cap. like but I but it's yeah, it's something that I'm glad I did. And yeah, so I'm always very thankful for like my family and my sister, because if she didn't tell me that, like I'll probably still be delusional right now.
Mm.
But yeah, so it's just about like really knowing, and like if I had more like better self-awareness to like really assess the situation, like I would have been like, oh, like okay. I feel like I probably would have even been playing basketball for longer, because I would have realized that, okay, since I'm not doing this, I don't need to put that much time into basketball. Like I could do other stuff and then play basketball. So then
Mhm.
I'd probably still be playing now, to be honest, if I was self-aware like then. But because I wasn't, and I was just putting all my energy to basketball, it got to the point where I low-key got like sick of it and like fed up. So which is why I'm saying that like self-awareness is really important. And it's something that I feel like everyone should really strive to get. And I'm not saying that like I'm like some type of guru or like the most self-aware person
We,
ever.
we we come from like a place of having failed in the past.
Yeah, yeah. So just like, like just trying to make the adjustment. So, like as I said, like I'm still learning and growing every day. Like I'm not like I don't know like everything at all. Like I don't know close to anything. But it's
Mm.
just like like just trying to just improve yourself, and just really being able to look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself like an honest assessment of what's going on, and like what can you do to better yourself, and just trying, because the truth hurts. It does hurt, because like a lot of people aren't honest with themselves.
Mhm.
But like being able to be honest with yourself, and like taking the advice of people around you, and just using all those things to like get to a point where can like call yourself like self-aware, can really like better your life in like so many like viewpoints. Like there's so many things that like I would have done differently that would have like helped me to do what I liked for a longer period of time, instead of like the way I just like had to stop.
In hindsight's 2020.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's just, yeah, that's really when I wanted to talk about self-awareness. And then my second point about knowing when to like move on and put your energy in different areas, that also kind of applies to self-awareness, cuz like um I feel like when you, like as a person, like everyone likes what they're comfortable with. Like
Mhm.
change is something that's like change is the only thing that's really consistent in life, but change is scary and people don't like change. But I feel like if you like give yourself what's the word? I feel like if you like allow yourself to really just like accept change, and like accept the fact that like things may not always be the way they were, like it could lead to something really beautiful. So like and that's like the mindset I have. Like I feel like you know, you never really want to stay stagnant like in one place for too long, and I feel like I let myself stay stagnant and I didn't even realize it,
Mhm.
which is why like I'm always telling people to like, oh, like people who want to listen, and I'm always telling people who like ask for my advice personally, that like if you feel like like are getting sick of something, or like it may um like a lot of times people be like, oh, that's when you need to like push harder or like work harder, but like sometimes that's also like a sign of telling you maybe you need to try something different, like completely different. And I feel like knowing the difference between when to grind and keep going, and when to stop, and like, self-assess what you've been doing and be like, okay, maybe I need to do something different, is like really important in life.
I think it's like interesting how like this phrase is like cliche, where like one door closes,
Mhm.
another one opens, but it's like sort of literal, you
No,
know?
no, that's very true. It really is. I agree with that.
So, my question for you is how do you become better at self-assessing where you're at and knowing when to stop?
I feel like it really just comes from you being able to separate your what you want and what you think you can do to what's currently happening. And I say that very carefully, because there are many situations where like if people stopped and were to say like, oh, I couldn't do this, they wouldn't have been what they are today. So
Mhm.
definitely like if you feel like you have it in you and it's supported by like some type of like actual results, then like I would say keep going. But like I'm gonna just use myself as an example. Like actually, no, I'm not gonna use myself as an example. I'm gonna use imaginary person as an example.
It's too real.
I'm gonna use an imaginary person as an example. All right, so like if you're like talking about I'm just gonna use basketball because that's all I know for real. Like in terms of this situation, like I don't want to get too deep into like personal. I'm just gonna use basketball. But like if, for example, like a kid is like really tough, like in high school hoops, and he's had getting like interest from like top schools and stuff, and like let's say like there's a roadblock or like a dilemma where like maybe like a certain school he wants isn't giving him the attention or like but like he knows because he's gotten like interest from like other schools and the people around him like his family like are honestly telling him like yo like you could actually do this, so like it's not like it's just like delusion, but like it's backed up by like actual evidence of like real life situations, like you've seen what you can do and other people know what you're capable of. So then I would be like, okay, just keep pushing because what you're aiming for is a legitimate possibility.
It's realistic.
Yeah, it's realistic. And even if like God forbid you don't get it, like your backup is not bad at all. Like you still have, like if you're like averaging 1.2 points in high school and you're talking about you're trying to go D1, like be for real. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's just like, and a lot of people like if you like wish for something great, but you don't like put in the work for it, it's like you're delusional. Like I feel like a lot of people like
They want things handed to
yeah,
them,
yeah, and and you don't really realize that you're one of those people until like you look back and actually self-assess it. Because if you were to ask me, like I think I worked like relatively hard in terms of that sport, and I'm a hard worker like in general, period. But like there are many things uh that like I would do then that like if I were to look back on it now, I'm like, oh, like I did work hard, but like I didn't work smart. So like I really didn't like I really it was delusional in that like sense. So it's just like you have to like actually separate, like if you really want to have like a good self-assessment and you want to have self-awareness, like you really have to learn how to separate like your desires, fantasy from what's really going on. And like you have to separate what you want from like the
what you can do.
yeah, and it's definitely hard to do that. Like I'm not like it's easier said than done. Like that's definitely because if you were to tell me that when I was like 16, 17, I'll probably like be like, oh, this dude's a hater. Like, so like it's definitely hard to do that. But I feel like if you can master that, like you will, because if you master that, that also tells you what you need to do to get to where you want to be. So it helps with like also bettering yourself. So there's many good things that could come from being able to actually be self-aware. So yeah, that's definitely just what I want to say.
See, when you were talking about like being a hard worker in basketball, I felt the same way until I started seeing what successful basketball players really do every
No,
day.
yeah.
Like you think you're a hard worker until you hear the story of how Jamal Murray got punched by his dad while shooting free throws blindfolded 500 a day. And that's a real story.
No,
You can go look it
literally,
up.
yeah, like
But it's like it like puts things in perspective.
yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
Now, last question for this topic to close this out.
Mm-hmm.
Something I feel like a very popular phrase is to just have a plan A, have no plan B, because it motivates you to get that plan A.
Oh yeah, no, that's stupid.
I was asked how you feel about
that's
that.
the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. Like do not like if you like you need to have like definitely a plan A and work towards it. But like as you're working towards your plan A, like people think like it's like, oh okay, like I'm just gonna focus on plan A, if it flops, plan B. But like you can't just like switch. Like as you're working towards plan A, like plan B and plan C need to be like in the loop. Like it's not like it's like I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna do plan A. If it fails, I'm gonna go to plan B. Like plan B won't be there for you. Like you need to like as you're working towards plan A, you need to be cooking up like plan B and plan C. Like so it like it really shouldn't even be plan B or plan C. It should just be like, okay, like I did this, it didn't work out. So now like I'm gonna do something else that like I'm still passionate about. So you really shouldn't see it as like, oh, my dream didn't work, now it's plan B. Like it's just like I'm just doing these things and like God, like I don't really know how to say it, but I'm just like it shouldn't be like you're just trying to do one thing and then that doesn't work and then you just change your routes entirely. Like I feel like you should be trying to like do like you can put more energy into the main goal, obviously, because you can't uh like you can't really
no good things come easy.
yeah. So I'm just saying like you should have like multiple Like if you're really thinking about like if you really have 3 different plans, that means you probably care about each one. So you should probably like try and do it not simultaneously, but you should try and do it to the point where it's like if you like plan A is working, but you're also like there's no reason why you can't do like all 3. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no reason why you just have to focus on one, and like people do multiple things. People have multiple revenue people have multiple like sources of income and revenue. So like, you know, like there's no reason why you just need to focus on one thing. You could be diverse in like what you do and stuff.
It's a very interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Now, before we sign off, is there anything else that you want to get across to the people listening and watching this?
Yeah, follow me on TikTok, S_TUEDOR, and the gram too.
Where both of those will be linked in the episode description. Now, before we get out of here, Dr. Toya Jones from the School of Social Work put together a nice little goodie bag for you.
Thank you.
She has her own podcast called Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy.
Okay.
I'll definitely be putting the I'll be putting her YouTube in the description. But highly recommend everybody following. She is a licensed social worker who she helps you become more in tune with yourself emotionally. So I feel like there's a lot that she can pass on to everybody watching and listening to this.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
sounds good.
Everything from CISA will be linked in the description. And if there's nothing else that you want to say, then this is Ian Kahende.
Yes, sir.
And we are signing off. Peace out, everybody.
All right. Peace out.